Well, hello and welcome everybody to episode 15 of Tui Snider's Offbeat and Overlooked. This is a weekly streaming show where I interview a variety of experts about cemetery symbolism, the paranormal, forgotten history, folklore, ghosts, UFOs, basically all the offbeat and overlooked people, places, and things that tickle my fancy. And I have a very ticklish fancy, as you can see. Now, in case you're new here, I'm Tui Snider. I write books, I give talks, and I do a lot of research. I love sharing what I find with you guys, and I'm having so much fun with this show. Now, our guest today is going to be Linda Anthony Hill. And oh my gosh, you guys have been so excited about her. I've been getting like messages about her since I posted about it on Facebook, and since I sent it out to my newsletter, people replied right away that they knew about this place. They wanted to see her. So, wow, I think this is the most excited you guys have been. It's really great. Let me see who's come here so far. I see we got Paranormal Gateway, Parrot Talk. We got Scott. I see Nicole, Debbie. Hey, Mark, Duckman. Hey, you're new. Hi, Duckman. I don't think I've seen, whoops, I'm clicking on the wrong stuff. Ha, Duckman. Well, quacky-doodle-doo. Nice to see you. Now, I do have something to say because some of you caught my accidental live stream yesterday, which was really embarrassing. But let me just tell you, maybe some of you, I went on about how some of you knew who Linda was, and I should tell you that she and her husband, they own an infamously haunted house in Texas. And so that we'll be talking to her about that. But also, and you might have seen her like on shows like Real Housewives of Dallas, My Ghost Story, some other ones. And hey, look at this. Oh, good. And I've got so much to tell you. Yes. So yesterday, I know some of you caught a Duckman is MPI Jeff. Well, now I know, and I know you've been to Hill House Manor, so you'll have some stories perhaps. And the observation deck, I'm going to be telling you guys what the observation deck is because I accidentally did a 3-minute live stream yesterday. This is something that's been going on behind the scenes. I'm going to be taking part in this really wonderful new website called the Observation Deck, and it's like a hub for high strangeness. And it's a bit of, I used to be a coffee house owner. And so to me, it is a bit like an online coffee house where people can come and talk about some of the weird things they experience, everything from UFOs to just a ghost, or, well, not just but you know what I mean? Anything strange you've experienced, exploring all these things, all these fun stuff. And we use virtual reality. And so right now, I'm actually streaming this show from inside the observation deck in the auditorium there, because there's going to be online conferences and things there. I'm going to be writing for them too, sharing weird and wacky things. And so I was so happy that the avatars included a beret. The pink's not, hot pink, but it still gets the point across, I think. So it's a fun thing. And so I was working here with the observation deck. We got Mike, and we were trying to figure out how I could stream in YouTube and the observation deck at the same time. Oh boy, was it ever wacky. And I accidentally did a 3-minute live stream, and so I didn't know that I was live, and you guys were seeing me, and so many of you came and said nice things that I decided to leave it up. It's a total goof with really silly echoes. I think one guy, Shikhan, I don't know how to pronounce his name. He said it needs to be made into a dance track. But you know what? I decided to leave it up because it kind of embodies some of my philosophy in life, where I think so many people in life are held back because they're afraid to make mistakes. And gosh, I mistake all the time because I'm really terrible at reading directions. And so that's really the only way I can move forward in life, is to bumble my way through. You've probably noticed with my live streams, hopefully they get a little better each week, but that's just because I have to make lots of mistakes. I don't think I'm that different from many people. And I think a lot of us get really perfectionistic. There's been times in my life when I've been really perfectionistic, and that's what held me back. So there, I get off my soapbox, but so I'm left that goofy thing up. And hopefully you guys can come in and see me in the observation deck, make avatars for yourself. It's a really fun virtual world. I'm going to have an office in there, a virtual, all sorts of things. I'm going to be having a conference, a UFO conference in July. I'll be talking a lot more about that in the weeks to come. Speaking of weeks to come, next week we have Daniel Allen Jones on the show. He's going to talk about, I'm waiting to see what pictures. He said he had a bunch of things he would send me for topics we could talk about. There's so many things he could talk about. Oh, I see. On the way home may lose signal here and there. Well, there'll be a replay if you want. So be sure to catch Daniel next week. He even has a book that he's writing that should be really interesting. Now, last week, I know a bunch of you guys were here for Icy Sedgwick, and who is a whole lot of fun. I've just got to figure here what I'm trying. I can't talk and click at the same time. We had a really fun chat with her about cemeteries in film. And one of the films, like everything from Zoolander to The Woman in Black. And, one thing she told me too, before I get into the rest of this, is after the show, I chatted with her briefly, although it was pretty late over in the UK. And she said, wow, you have such great viewers. They are so friendly. So I thought I would pass that along, because as we well know, not every little corner you stumble into on the internet is going to be friendly. And I'm so glad that my show is a friendly little corner. Now, one of the things we came up a few times during our chat with her was the Angel of Grief, which is a very famous statue. So I wanted to make, how I make a fake sponsor for my show every week. So this week's faux sponsor, I have the Angel of Grief. And I found a really interesting article about this statue in the San Francisco Examiner from 1901. And in fact, I fell down such a bunny trail learning about the Angel of Grief that I will do a whole video about her eventually, because I knew there were a lot of copies of her, but like the Guardian newspaper even says that this is perhaps one of the most widely copied images in the world, which I thought was interesting. So, oh great, everyone looks like they're chit-chatting down here. I like to see everybody talking, giving out hugs. Okay, good. You guys are having a good time in there. So, of course, the real, as I always say, the real supporters, the real sponsors for my show are my Patreon supporters, and that would be Bob, Connie, Ian, Scott, Ghost Cat, Angel, Jessica, Anne, Envy, Jay, Ken, Patty, Sarah. I wonder if Ken's here. He's in Colorado, and it's been really snowy there. Maybe he's not here today. Patty, Sarah, Julie, Margaret, Hugh, Mikhail, Naomi, Tim, Pete, Sarah, Rachel, and the other Tui, who is no relation to me, and I just think that is so fun. So yes, Angel of Grief. Here is the original Angel of Grief, and this is a statue that was originally sculpted in 1894. It was commissioned by William Wetmore, who was just grieving terribly over the loss of his wife. And you can see it in Rome, even though he was not Roman, he was living there, and that's where she was buried. Now, this is just such a touching statue that it became very popular. And like I said, I will do I want to bring our guest on shortly, so I will do just a separate video about it. But I got a few photos of some of the other Angels of Grief statues that you might come across in cemeteries. And I'm super curious if any of you have ever seen the Angel of Grief when you've been out and about. Here's one, my friend David M. Hobbin, who I had as a guest a month or so ago. He's my go-to cemetery statuary, cemetery symbols. I just love, he has so many great photos because he goes all over the place and takes photos of cemeteries. And so here's one in Colma, California. That one's really beautiful. Still has its arm. Quite often the arm breaks off. And this is often attributed to vandalism, but I think more often than not, that's simply a weak point on the sculpture, and people might be touching it, inadvertently damaging it. I don't think it's quite a deliberate move. That's my thoughts. What do you think? Here's Metairie, one of my Lake Lawn Metairie in New Orleans. She has a very bluish cast, I think, from some stained glass in the mausoleum. I saw that one too when I was there. Mount Carmel, Illinois. This one's a little different. They just they're evoking the angel of grief without having to make the entire monument. Here's one in Houston, Texas, which is very well known, and even the musculature. I mean, this one's really well known. You kind of can see that some on the spectrum, some are just, the craftsmanship is better in some than others. Okay, here's one. Remember our guest last week, Icy Sedgwick? She sent one from a cemetery near her. I think it might be that same cemetery she's mentioned where J.R.R. Tolkien's aunt is buried. She said it's a really beautiful cemetery near her. Now I have a bunch here. This is East Texas. We have one as well. You can see she's missing part of her arm. I was there in the fall. It's that same arm. I think that's basically a weak point in the design. I mean, think about it. These statues are out in all weather. I'm getting a little artsy here, trying to put more than one statue in one. I'll give you one more. This is in Scottsville Cemetery in East Texas, which is just one of the most gorgeous cemeteries I've ever been to, deserving of an entire video. I will get to that. Now, just a simple Google search of Angel of Grief is going to bring up a slew of images. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to go to Amazon, because why not? I went to Amazon and I saw, here's a customer who, had bought an angel of grief and had it next to the ashes of a loved one. And I thought it's kind of cute too. They have little red shoes, like Dorothy's shoes. I like their whole mantle decorations. So there, we will have more about the angel of grief, but that was, since it was mentioned several times last week, I thought I would bring that up. And you know what? Without further ado, I'm going to see what's going on with our show guest, Linda Anthony Hill. Now, we were having, StreamYard's been good for me, but I don't know what the deal is for me this week. I have had one glitch after another. And I mean, fingers crossed that this is going to work out. But right before the show, Linda and I were talking and I could hear her, but I could not see her. So we're going to see what we do, how it goes. And let me just tell you about her a little bit before I bring her in. Keep your fingers crossed, everybody. I hope that this works. So let me scroll down here. Now, Linda is an award-winning author. She's very prolific. She's written a lot of books. We'll get into those, but I know you guys will want to hear the ghosty stuff first. She and her husband, Dell, they own the infamous Hill House Manor in Gainesville, Texas. I've been there. I know some of you have been there. And if you have, let me know and let Linda know, because you guys have been talking about it. Now, you may have heard about Linda and the Hill House Manor on, so many TV shows, including My Ghost Story, even The Real Housewives of Dallas. I'm very curious how that one went. And you might have even heard about her through my book, Paranormal Texas, which is a travel guide to haunted places, such as her haunted house. As I said, she's a very prolific author, so we will get into that too. But first off, we're going to start talking about some of her spooky experiences. And I know how excited you guys have been to chat with Linda, so I'm going to bring her in right now, and we will hear her and hopefully see her as well. Let's see what happens when I add her to the stream. It's looking.
I don't think you're going to see me.
She's dwelling in darkness.
I think that it's because I'm using Firefox.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. It could be.
I think so, because there was something about using Chrome for something, and I didn't want to shut down and try to open up Chrome, because I don't even know where Chrome is on my computer. So I just said, okay, I'll just have to describe my show and tell.
That's right. Oh, I'm so sorry, Linda. Thank you for being a good sport about it. Everyone has been so excited. I think I've had such a great response when people knew you were coming. People showed up like almost an hour before the show on YouTube.
Oh,
I'm
wow.
like, wait, I'm getting comments already. Oh, here's someone saying, yeah, people have been there. They're like, I had crazy experiences there. And I know several ghost hunters who basically cut their teeth. Their first official investigation was at Hill House Manor. So I'm getting ahead of us a little bit, but so I think we'll stick to mostly the slides and just us in the corner. But What the Paranormal is saying hi to you.
Hi.
Yeah,
they've been to Hill House Manor a few times.
Oh, okay, you're going to recognize some of these names. Yes. All right. Well, I'm going to show some people who haven't been there. I'll bring up some of the pictures I snagged of Hill House Manor, because it's it's unassuming. It's just a nice looking house. I mean, here people can get it. It's got a little snow. I doubt that's how it looks today.
No.
Probably looks a little more like this. I loved your blue bonnets.
Exactly.
You have blue bonnets in the front yard. This is the time of
Those
year.
are not blue bonnets.
Oh, they aren't?
No.
Oh, you're right. Those are
There's
gray
something else.
hyacinths. Those are gray hyacinths. I know. I should know that.
And they are everywhere.
Oh, how nice.
On the lawn at Hill House, yeah.
Oh, how pretty.
I
Yeah.
think they're beautiful.
Me
But I thought they
too.
were blue bonnets at first, and then when I got up close, I knew they weren't.
Yeah, I should have known. Oh, well. Very pretty, very pretty. And then you might have seen this is their official logo. I thought I would show people just so they could know. And I know I'm going to ask you about the feathers in a little while.
Okay.
Oh, here's someone. What the Paranormal is saying. Best place to get evidence. Yep. You got some testimonials.
Well, we think so.
Yeah. Well, now, before we dive in, for the people who I know a lot of the audience is familiar with you, but for the audience that isn't, why don't you give us a little background? Because from what I understand and what you've told me, you did not buy Hill House Manor thinking, hey, I want a haunted house. You bought it as
God, no.
Yeah. Tell us the real, what you were thinking when you bought it, when you purchased it.
This was before the TV shows about ghost hunting.
Mm-hmm.
And we bought, actually, I was in a situation where I was selling some property, some commercial property, and I had to buy property of like kind so that I could move the capital gain asset to the new property.
Oh, wow.
Instead of paying taxes on it. It's called a 1031 exchange, and it's,
Mm-hmm.
it's a real estate complexity. And so
That's
anyway,
really far from the paranormal. You weren't standing there holding a K2 meter looking at you're like,
oh,
you
no.
had serious.
I didn't know what a K2 meter was. I was trying to buy some property so that I could transfer this money from property to property. And Dell found it wasn't just this house, it was a tract with, I think, 10 houses, little houses. I mean, Hill House Manor is the biggest of them.
Oh,
and
okay.
So we bought a package deal, and we were able to do the 1031 exchange. And the intention was to clean up the neighborhood because it was a really old neighborhood, and it wasn't the best of neighborhoods. Like, I'm surprised there weren't red lights all over the place.
Oh.
Yeah. And so we even at one point asked to have Hill House, which wasn't named Hill House at the time, have it removed from the package because it was going to need a lot of work. And we didn't want one that was going to need that much work. But they said, no, you have to take that one. If you take the package, you have to take that one. And that should have been my first clue.
In retrospect, yeah, that is a little bit.
What? Right. But we started cleaning the neighborhood and upgrading the tenants. And it was, I don't know, Hill House Manor was in better shape than any of the other houses in the neighborhood. But after a couple of years, we realized that it had settled down. We had tenants that had been there for a while, but we could not keep tenants in Hill House Manor for anything.
So the other houses you had, they would stay, but for some reason, Hill House, they just wouldn't.
Right. And it was our best house, as far as I'm concerned.
So it doesn't make any sense. It's the biggest one. It's the best one.
Right. And yet people would move out anywhere from 2 to 6 months.
What would they say?
And always they would say that somebody was ill. Somebody related to them was deathly ill in Utah, and they needed to move. The whole family had to move out to Utah to take care of this sick person. Or they'd be in California, and so the whole family had to move.
The same excuse.
Basically.
Yeah.
Somebody was sick, and they needed to leave now.
Wow.
Everyone needed to leave. And that went on for a couple of years until we said, this is ridiculous because it costs money when tenants move in and then move out. You have to go in and practically redo the house every time someone moves out. And we couldn't afford to do that every 2 or 3 months.
Yeah.
So, and you couldn't hold people to a lease, especially when they gave you the sob story that, grandma's dying and we all have to move to,
Yeah.
Oregon or whatever.
Hmm.
Take a place as far away from here as you can get. And that's where they were going.
Yeah.
So we stopped trying to rent it. We fixed up the one side that everybody knows as the safe side. We put a blow up bed in the back room and put in a refrigerator and a dining table. And since we were going up there almost every weekend to work on the houses, the other houses,
Yeah.
because we discovered under the carpet they were all old hardwood floors and just lots of little things that you discover when you start rehabbing a house.
Yeah.
But instead of driving, because back then we lived in Corinth,
Oh, yeah.
Hickory Creek actually, but most people know Corinth and don't know Hickory Creek. But it was an hour's drive. And so we were driving up there on Friday after work and working for a while and then driving home and then driving back up Saturday morning and working all day and then driving back home and then driving up Sunday morning. It was ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we said, we'll just use this apartment on this house on weekends when we come to work on the houses. And we can also run up to the casino when we want.
Oh, yeah.
Because
That would be a
we're
good.
only 15, 20 minutes from the casino.
That's
And they
right.
have the best buffet. If you're ever wanting someplace to go eat and you're in this area, they have a great buffet.
Oh, good to know.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of great little restaurants in Gainesville, but
I like the one on the town square that's got the, I guess, haunted B&B above it.
oh yes, Sarah's.
I like that one. Yeah, that was nice.
Oh yes, she has great food,
Yeah, I thought it was great.
and her dessert tray is outstanding. But she does have. Does she have 4 rooms up there?
I think that sounds about right.
And we've had people rent one or all of her rooms and Hill House at the same time
Oh,
so that they could sleep over at Sarah's and investigate over at Hill House and go back and forth as needed.
oh, that
Because
makes sense.
Hill House is definitely not a bed and breakfast. I mean,
Yeah,
we have working toilets and there's a refrigerator and microwave and coffee maker, but it's not a bed and breakfast. There's no
yeah.
beds with linens and none of that. So anyway, we were up there. It was probably a Saturday, and Dell was showing the house across the street, kind of behind Hill House. He
Hmm.
was showing it to someone, and she pointed to Hill House and she said, "That house is haunted. My aunt lived there 30 years ago." And this has been over 10 years ago that she said it.
Yeah.
And it was haunted back then. It's still haunted. And she didn't know that that's the house he had come out of. She just recognized the house.
Wow.
Well, he came back and told me. And my first thought was, if this house, because we're not from Gainesville, if this house has a local reputation of being haunted and somebody moves in and the neighbors start telling them that they're in a haunted house, then they're going to start imagining things.
Yeah.
They're going to hear
Hmm.
a bump in the night and think it's a ghost
Yeah,
and things.
yeah.
But then I had my own experience and I knew that no, this house is haunted.
Oh boy.
I understand completely why people don't stay here.
What was your big head turner moment? Eye opener.
I had been working on the other side of Hill House with no air conditioning, and it was the summer. And I'd been ripping carpet out of the bathroom on the other side of the house.
Ooh,
And
ambitious.
it was, I mean, this is old, nasty carpet.
Ugh.
God only knows what kind of dust I had on me. But I
Yeah.
was sweating and, I looked horrible. I felt bad. I just wanted to go stand in the shower. So I went over and I got undressed in the bedroom. And I remember it distinctly because Dell had already given up for the day and was sitting in the bedroom where the air conditioner was. And he was online. And as I got ready to go into the shower, he said, "Oh, you're looking good." And I thanked him because at that point in time, I had lost about 15 pounds, and he was, letting me know it showed.
Yeah, nice.
So, that's cool. So I went in and I turned on the shower and I just stood there letting it cool me down. And after a few minutes,
A very
Dell
Texan moment. I can relate.
Dell came to the door. I had the bathroom door open because there was no air conditioning in the bathroom. So I wanted the air conditioning to come in from the bedroom and the living room and, cool down the room as well. Well, anyway, he stops in the door and says something. He said, "Looking good," again.
Uh-huh.
And I thanked him again. And he said something else, and I said something else. We had a little conversation, and he took off towards the front of the house. I thought he was going to go make some coffee or something. And man, it was like 30 seconds later, he came from the bedroom again and stood in the doorway and
Whoa.
said, were you talking to me? I said,
Oh, no.
"How did you get back in the bedroom?" He said, "I haven't left the bedroom." I was like, holy shit. Now I
That's weird.
understand. Now I understand why people don't stay here.
Because that's creepy. That's not just you saw a shadowy figure, you saw an orb. That's
I had a conversation.
mimicry. Yeah, full on mimicry of a doppelganger kind of thing. That's
Right.
freaky. That's something tricking, playing
Now,
with
what
you.
gets even weirder
Hmm.
is Jimmy Billman, who's not really into ghost hunting anymore, but he was back then.
Hmm.
He was a pretty big name. I don't know if anybody in the audience is
I don't know him, but
remember.
maybe someone else there's. Oh, here's someone. That's the
Um,
story that made me want to go there.
oh, well,
Everyone
the
is
rest
plotting
of
a
the
trip
story,
in the comments section. Go ahead.
the rest of the story is Jimmy sent a tape of him and a tape of, I don't know, an EVP and some orbs, and a tape of me live talking about my ghost story. He sent this to my ghost story, and they decided they wanted to follow up on it. And we had to
Ah.
fly to Vegas. We flew to Vegas for a weekend, and not Vegas, Hollywood. Vegas is another story.
Oh.
We flew to Hollywood and told our stories on the set, which was fun and fascinating. I actually got to go into makeup and all of that,
Oh,
and
wow.
you really sit there on that stool and you have this big mirror in front of you and all the lights and
How
somebody
fun.
doing your makeup for you. And I've never had anybody do that.
No, me neither.
Anyway, then they came out to shoot what they call a B-roll.
Oh, yeah.
And they came, the whole staff didn't come, just one cameraman came because he had a list of things they wanted video of.
Sure, yeah. So while they're
And
doing the voiceovers, they have this panning
right,
across the porch, and that's the
right,
B-roll stuff.
things like that.
Yeah.
So he came, and Jimmy was there, and I was there, and he was shooting something that he was actually shooting the audio as well.
Oh.
And Jimmy started talking about he had seen a man when he spent the night in the house alone. He had seen a man in the kitchen.
Eesh.
He was in the living room and he rolled his chair back to get a better look, and the guy was gone. But he got up and went back there to make sure that there
Yeah.
was no one hiding in the kitchen. Anyway, he started describing the man and the posture. And I said, wait a minute. And I went back to my bedroom. Everybody knows about my special room in the back of the house where I ask you not to go. I went back there and I had a box, actually 2 boxes of things from my late husband. Now, he was in the military.
Mm-hmm.
And military people seem to run together in packs, They go camping together and there's 12 people out there. They
Mm-hmm.
go to the beach and there's, 15 people. They just do things in packs almost.
Mm-hmm.
So all my pictures of him are with other people. So I thought this would be a perfect test. I brought out about 6 or 8 pictures and brought them out to Jimmy. And I said, was it any of these people? And there were 5 or 6 people in each one of the pictures.
Mm-hmm.
And he pointed immediately to my late husband and said, "That's
Wow.
who I saw."
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, hmm.
I think it freaked Dell out more than it freaked me out.
Yeah, it's like, hey.
Yeah. So we're not alone.
Yeah, what's going on? Well, you in the shower thing, that, you feel vulnerable. Even
Oh,
if I just see a
yes.
mouse when I'm undressed, I feel more freaked out by it than, So, like, if something paranormal happens when
But
you're
a
like
full
naked, it's
body.
like, ah, yeah,
I know. And the shower curtain was one of the cheap Walmart kind of curtains that you can see through it, but you can't see through it.
yeah, yeah. So it's,
So I was seeing his outline more
mhm,
than, or silhouette more than
mm,
actually seeing the details,
wow,
or I would have probably recognized him.
yeah. Oh my goodness, wow, wow.
Yeah.
Well, now I have a photo. I think you sent this one along. I was just curious because it must have a story behind it. And then I have a bunch of pictures of evidence that I took off your website that I was hoping you'll have
Oh,
time to get
okay.
to. But was there a story behind this one, or?
Well, do you see the shadow over in
Yeah,
the
that's what I was
mirror?
wondering. Does it have to do with that shadow on the right? I mean, what is that all
Yeah.
about?
You'll notice there's not a shadow on the wall.
No, I mean, I just see the one behind her. Yeah, what is that? I was like, what? That seems very strange.
Uh-huh. That team, that's Brenda Peacock.
Oh yeah,
Her team is A Haunting We Will Go.
yeah.
And there was a time for a couple, 3 years that they came out almost every month. They came to Hill House for a night.
Oh wow.
And 2 months in a row, they caught shadow people in that mirror.
Man, that's a strong outline. That's not as vague as most.
No, that's a shadow. And it's definitely not her. I mean, you
Yeah,
can look at
no,
that shadow and know that it's not her shadow.
yeah, yeah. That's a very odd. Yeah, I was like, okay, I got to know what the story, what the paranormal
And
is
his
saying. This is my
hand,
favorite room.
his or her hand
It's a
is
different
pointing down.
angle. It just
It's
doesn't
not
fit.
holding a camera. It's not who took the
Hmm.
picture. And
No, you
there's
don't
nobody
have.
else in the room.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, that is a very weird. And mirrors and shadows. Yeah, that is really,
Uh-huh.
really strange. Uh huh. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
everybody. What do you think, people? People are liking it. No, this is a young. You get a lot
Never
of.
mind, they're all my favorite room.
Yeah, isn't that funny? I know I like that. This is my favorite room. No, they're all my favorite room. And then, Cherie said about your late husband. So cool about the picture, probably comforting. Also know he's still with you. Although you said, yeah,
Yeah,
your present husband was kind of like, oh my goodness, how many
yeah.
people are here?
Not as comforted as I was.
Yeah. Uh,
My ex wasn't my ex, he was my late.
you're late.
And
Yes.
he could have definitely been there when the tenants were there because he died in 1996.
Oh wow.
So that's before we bought the houses.
Odd and definitely creepy. Talking about the shadow here. Yeah, I want to ask you about. So you find a lot of
Okay, the
feathers
feathers.
because I
Well,
noticed here in your
sometimes there
logo.
was a time, things come and go in this house,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but there was a time when we kept getting feathers, and there's no birds in the house.
Yeah.
And one instance, there was a girl, oh, my mind's gone blank. Who was it? Tell me who it was, Tui.
I don't know. You
We
just
have a train if you can't tell.
here. Mark says feathers are a good sign. I think I do
Well,
know there are people who
they were
do.
pretty good for her because she has had cancer for a very long time and she
Oh,
has kicked it. She's still alive. Shelley and Greg Burris brought her over. Shelley's best friend, and I can't think of her name at the
that'll
moment.
come to you.
Yeah, when it does, I'll pop out.
You'll just
But
blurt it out.
she kept finding feathers on her arms and her shoulder, and she would pick one off and another one would show up, and everybody's kind of freaked out a little bit, and they came over and told me about it because I'm always on the safe side. I don't go on the scary parts.
Mm-hmm.
um, and as I was standing there talking to her, a feather. I watched a feather fall down onto her shoulder.
That is neat. Wow, you just
And it
saw
was a
one like
feather
clear.
like that. And you can
That is,
see, I don't know if you can see it, there are several small feathers, almost like they came off a boa or something.
oh, wow.
So that
Yeah,
kind of feathers too. And they show up just mysteriously.
yeah. Well, that's a nice thing that, it's something comforting.
Well, we have a reputation for being protected,
Mm-hmm.
we have a positive energy at Hill House. It's not the place you want to go to find demons or
Which is
negative.
all the fad these days. People seem to think
Right.
every little thing is like, oh, demon. You're like, oh, good grief,
No, we do everything in our power to make sure there's nothing like that at Hill House Manor.
Yeah,
If somebody lets me know that something negative happened, I get somebody over there and they take care of it.
that's
We've got
good.
it's like we've got positive crystals planted in certain
Mm-hmm.
places, and we have people who monitor it. And the feathers are a good sign.
And I
That,
think what you put your attention on grows. So focus on the
right.
positive stuff. Cultivate the positive stuff. Whatever it is that what this other is that communicates with us, it's good. Yeah, why not try and accentuate the positive, as they say?
Exactly. Hill House Manor is kind of like the law of attraction on steroids, incarnate. Because what you come looking for, you're probably going to find. So
There are,
I don't want people looking for demons because they'll attract them.
or create it, or bring it, or
Yeah, bring it with them. More
Mhm.
likely.
Now
More likely. Now there sometimes there's people that seem to bring their own, not demons, just spirits.
Oh yeah.
And they're going to have a great time because they've already got a spirit attached to them. And
it's just
that spirit is going to interact with the spirits at Hill House, and it's just going to be, they always have a
slumber
good
party.
time. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I love this photo, and I enlarged it a little bit. Everybody, take a look at this one. Okay, I enlarged it a little bit on the left so people can kind of, because I saw something immediately when I looked at this one. I was like, oh, does anyone? I know there's a bit of a lag. People are saying, best place ever. If y'all haven't gone there, you need to add it to your list.
Never left there disappointed.
Yeah. Who goes looking for demons? Silly people.
Well,
Yeah.
believe it or not, there are people who go looking for demons. They call themselves demon hunters, and they go looking for demons, and they are not invited into Hill House Manor.
Here, people are seeing things. Looks like a
Yeah,
little girl.
I agree with Nicole. I see a little girl, and
Me too. I didn't want to put it in anybody's head, but I was scrolling on your site looking for photos to snag, and I was like, "Whoa, I see a little girl." Duckman sees a girl. Yeah, like a female. Everybody's seeing it. That's crazy. I know. Isn't that something? That's really neat.
And it looks like she's from a long time ago.
Definitely.
She seems to be wearing a dress with a very long skirt.
Yeah, it does look old timey. What the paranormal has.
And her hair looks a little old timey.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Wow. I want to see that.
You should share them.
Yeah, we're all into this. Oh, this person sees like a bow in her hair. Hey, Debbie. Glad you made it. Yeah, Debbie's up in Canada. I definitely see the little girl and get that. I think we all get little girl vibes from that. That is interesting. I didn't want to put anything. I was like,
poofy hair.
Yeah, I think that's really neat. Now, is that, and we have an EVP later with like a little girl's voice, and I'm hoping that will work. But I wanted to, unless you, can I go to the next photo, or should I stay to this one unless you want?
I don't have anything else to say.
Okay. This was like amazing. These orbs were like, what?
I know.
I
was there. I was standing in that spot 5 minutes before he took that picture, or maybe less.
Were these?
But look at those orbs. Aren't those fascinating?
Yes, those are incredible. Now, did people see these with your naked eye, or were these only on film? Oh, okay. Yeah, all right. Yeah.
No, and there were a lot of people in the room. You can't
Hmm.
see anybody in the room because they're all behind the camera person.
Yeah. Oh, here's a
But
question from someone. They're asking. I figure I'll just interject it now because it's on. I usually wait, but you wants to know if you question visitors to make sure they are not searching for demons, or use your intuition, or
both. It's a little bit of both. I
Mhm.
interview people and get to know them before I let them stay.
Yeah.
Um, and
You know,
I'm
you
not
have to
just
have
looking for
intuition when
people.
you rent a home anyway. I mean, even as
Yeah,
a landlord situation, I
right.
think a lot of intuition is involved.
It is. It is. And we have quite a few tenants, and we've been very, very lucky
That's good.
because we do interview and find out what they're interested in and what they're doing. And, um, I have had people show up, though, that have fooled me that I
Yeah.
thought were more mature than they turned out to be. Like we walked in to one room after I don't want to call it an investigation because they must have had a party.
Yeah,
And
that's the
somebody had
thing.
a can of silly string or whatever you call it, where you spray it on. Yes, yes.
Yeah, that's not
We've
good.
had that happen. That happened once.
Uh,
Um,
that's disappointing.
but usually people are very responsible and
That's good.
um, they pick up after themselves. Uh, some people come that must be compulsive because it'll be cleaner than when they got there.
That's
I
nice.
love those kind of people.
Definitely. Yeah, have some respect for the place, you know. I
Exactly.
know. I know I did
Exactly.
go on one investigation once, and I was so disappointed because I thought it was going to be a serious investigation, and people were drinking and smoking wacky tobacco and talking
Yeah,
really loudly. You never, if you heard a noise, you didn't know where everybody was.
right.
I mean, I picked up an EVP, but that was after everybody left, and then it was in such a scary neighborhood that my friend and I, there was some drunken people outside. We were like, let's just get out of here. So, that's when I realized, wow, anybody can call themselves, a team,
That's
and then
true.
you need to
That's
vet them
true.
pretty carefully.
The
I always
serious
warn people.
teams, um, you can spot a serious team.
Yeah, it's
Number
going to
one,
take
they
them time
fill
to
up the
set up.
middle room with so much equipment.
Yeah, it takes them like 2 hours to set up. That's a good
Right,
sign. And they're
right.
they're always telling you, let us know where you are. They make it. They're almost like military about it, and
Yes,
that I
yes.
appreciate. I'm like, okay. What's this? Scott sounds like us the other weekend cleaner when we left. Oh, Teresa. Hey, because now I know who we. Yeah. Oh, you guys got to
Yes,
come down. You guys have got to come down. Um, yeah, I think it is. It gives everyone a bad name. Whenever
it's
anybody
true.
like trespasses, anytime I write about a haunted place, or I always tell people, like, don't, make sure you follow the rules, or cemeteries. Don't ruin it for the rest of us. There are places that I can't go to that are historic and really cool because some bozo went there because they felt entitled to do urban exploring and break in. I'm like,
And now
even,
it's not allowed. Yeah.
and yeah, and it makes me mad because there's certain places I really wanted to go and I can't. So yeah. Oh, they were at a filthy place. Well, hey, hopefully you caught some good evidence while you were there. Now, here's a series, and I don't know how well this will translate into this slideshow, but I thought this was really intriguing too.
Mm-hmm. The shadow that moves across the room.
Yeah, it's a series, and I guess they were taken, you know, right after
Boom,
each
boom,
other,
boom. Yeah. Boom, boom, boom.
and
Almost
this,
like a video.
and like yeah, I think that's really cool. I don't know, the whole shadow thing really intrigues me. I've never really gotten a picture of one.
There are two more in this series. I don't know where they are,
I didn't
but
see
there are two more pictures in this series, and the shadow actually in the third picture that I'm looking at, the shadow is kind of like a wand going side to side across, and it moves on up to the left corner
Oh,
in the next picture, and then the next picture is clear again.
wow. Oh man. Oh, well, everybody, that's just a little taste of it. But yeah, I thought that was really interesting. I always take more than one picture. Yeah, I do too, because
Yeah.
you never know. And I find if you have those iPhone live pictures, I actually got an orb traveling through a room on one, and it makes like a little. That was a luck. I lucked out one time. Okay. This one's really cool too and very spooky. Like I'm presuming that, you know.
He says he debunked it.
Oh, he did?
He
Oh,
says
okay.
he debunked it, but I'm not sure
Okay.
how, because he was the last person walking through,
Hmm.
except for the person that was taking the picture.
Yeah. I don't know.
Although it says camera 1, so that's
It looks like it's
probably
from from a video that was
a
going. That's
video. Yeah, somebody had a video
so,
set up.
huh. Well,
Anyway, it fascinates me.
it's a cool looking photo, if nothing else.
Exactly.
And sometimes you do debunk stuff. It's kind of like I was saying earlier. I think people, when you do realize something is to realize the cause of it, just come out and say it. I mean, there's no
Yeah,
shame. Get
absolutely.
excited at the beginning and then figure it out. I mean, that's life.
There's an
Sometimes,
EVP I sent you that
oh yeah, I've got two of
was
them worked.
debunked.
Oh, was it? Oh, okay. Two of the EVPs worked, and I couldn't get the other two because, like I said, this is glitch week for me. Apparently, sorry,
Oh,
Linda,
me
you get to be part
too.
of
Me
Tui Snider.
too.
Oh, maybe it's me rubbing off on you. Now I
Now
wonder what's
there's
happening
a
here.
story about this picture.
Oh, okay, okay. Let's hear.
If you'll look very close, and you can't really do it, I don't know how you would make this picture bigger,
Oh,
but
I did
do you
this.
see the way? Okay, that's good. That's good.
Can you
See
see?
the
Oh,
way? Yes, that right there, that
mm-hmm.
hair raising up. The
And
little
she's like
girl,
looking at it.
yes, she had, okay, there was a circle of people in the living room on the
Mm-hmm.
storage side, and they were all sitting down. Now, the little girl here, whose hair is up, she was there being punished, basically. She wasn't allowed to go out for the weekend. She had to go ghost hunting with them because she had done something.
Oh,
So she was on restriction.
she's
So she
grounded, and
was
her parents
standing
made her
up
go ghost hunting.
watching all these people. She's standing there watching everyone. Everyone's sitting down trying to do some kind of a seance or something. And she has her finger or her arms crossed, and she says very plainly, "This is bullshit."
Oh wow.
And immediately something grabbed her arm. Now, there was no one near her. She was standing off to the side, but something grabbed her arm. And she
Ugh.
did. She got terrified.
Well,
So this
yeah.
is her stepmother, this other woman is her stepmother, who brought her along. And she jumped up and went over to comfort her. And then she sees the girl's hair rising
Yeah,
up.
I love how you can see her looking at that. I was like, that's what I'm like, what is she looking at it? And I'm like, her hair's sticking up. What is that all
Uh-huh.
about? So that is,
That's the story about that picture.
ooh, that one's, yeah. I wonder how the little girl's doing these days, what her thoughts are toward the paranormal after that.
I don't know.
Oh man, oh man, oh. Wow. Oh, now I have a couple EVPs you sent. And, considering this is glitch week, we don't
Yeah.
know if this will work or not. But I'm going to hit click on one. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Everybody,
Yeah.
cross your fingers. Here we go. I'll play it again. I heard it go, must die, or something. Was that? Did people hear that? Now, was that the one that was?
I didn't hear it, but that's the one that was debunked.
Oh,
They
okay.
called me. I was at home, and they
Mm-hmm,
called me and said that they'd gotten this recording.
mm-hmm.
And what they had done, the back room was locked, and people were not to go in the back room.
Oh, it didn't
And
work for you guys.
they had slid a microphone under the door to that room and just recorded. And they called me and said, "We have a recording. There's something in that back room, and it's saying must die."
Oh,
And it has repeated it more than once. And I got to thinking about it because I don't like the idea that something in the room that I work in is going must die.
Yeah.
And I said, and I went over the next day and just looked around the room.
Mhm.
And at one point I heard, psst, and I was
Oh,
like, what was that? And I look around, and you remember when it was really popular to have those things that you put a
oh, the
can of
spray.
aerosol and it would automatically spray every 9 minutes or 18 minutes? And
I've
so I
heard of
called them
those.
back. I called them back. I said, can you listen to that for me and tell me how much time has elapsed between each time it says must die? And it was exactly 9 minutes
Oh,
apart.
too
I
funny.
said, that was the aerosol.
That is interesting. I have been startled by those before. I was actually, I
Uh-huh.
think, staying at a hotel in the middle of the night. I woke up like, what am I hearing? And it's accompanied by a weird smell. Well,
But
I'm going
that
to
got
try.
everybody excited for a little while.
All right. Well, let's try this one. And guys, maybe nothing
I
will
didn't
happen.
hear anything on that
Okay.
last one.
This is the second one. Maybe nothing will happen. Let me know, people, if you hear anything. If you don't, oh well, we'll move along. I don't know if that went through. Did you hear anything when I hit the sound that time, Linda?
No, I didn't.
I bet it just didn't go through. Oh well, guys, sorry. I tried. I don't know. What's the right upper picture? Um,
The guy going through the door with somebody following behind him
this
that
one?
wasn't there.
Oh, this one? Glitchy, ooh, glitchy woman. That could be my theme song. Woo-hoo, yeah. That really should be my theme song. Oh man, I have the Eagles. What's the right picture, upper left? Am I looking at? I don't know.
That's the one that
Oh,
you've
someone
clicked
heard a
on now.
whisper. All right. All right,
Well,
folks.
it
Well,
was
the EVPs
definitely
did what.
a little girl. The
Yes, that
EVP was
one.
definitely a little girl, but you can come to when I'm
Your
speaking
website.
somewhere or where I'm
Yeah.
speaking, because I usually play EVPs and show some videos, and usually the sound works, but
Yeah, yeah.
not always.
Well, let's see. Well, some of these folks are like in Canada and wherever else. So here, let me see if I can do this. I'm just going to do this real quick and say, you guys can go to hillhousemanor.com. Also, while you're there, we're going to talk about our books. You need to go check out our books. But I think you have some EVPs there too, don't you?
Oh, yes.
So you
Yes.
guys, if you weren't able to hear the EVPs, which I don't think they were working, just make sure you go to Hill House Manor, and you want to keep up on all this good stuff.
And
What did you say?
also,
It was more of just like it was just a child's voice kind of squealing. I thought.
yeah, if you go to YouTube and type in Hill House Manor,
Oh yeah,
you will get pages of YouTube videos about Hill House
yeah,
Manor.
you
Some of them are
guys.
from me, and some of them I've been uploaded by teams that have been to the house. And there'll be EVPs, there'll be
Yeah,
just all
that's
kinds of things.
good advice. So you guys, yeah, if you want to hear more stuff, make sure you just hit that YouTube search bar. There will be a treasure trove. This is just a little.
Hmm.
This is just a little sampler for y'all. Now, one of the weird things about Hill House is there is a well in the middle. Why is there a well like in the middle of the house, or what's
Well,
going on there?
you have to remember that Hill House Manor started as one room. That
Oh,
living room at the front when you
mhm,
first come in,
yeah.
that's the original house. That room is the original house.
Okay.
And then you go into the dining room from there. That was a house that was moved from somewhere else and
Oh,
attached to this house so that
I've
it
been
was
in
a
other places where
two-room
they did that
house.
Frankenhouses and they kind of stick them together and you don't even notice until.
Right.
Mhm,
And then, well, if you'll notice, the walls are really thick between those
mhm.
two rooms.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But anyway, they had those two rooms, And then we think next they added across the front.
Mhm.
And so the well would have been in the backyard. At
Okay,
that point in
so that makes
time,
sense.
when
Yeah.
it was a
Okay.
3-room house, that would have been in the backyard and would have been perfectly logical. That's, where you want
Mhm.
it. There's a cistern, which may be a well, because we thought this was a cistern and it's not, it's a well. But instead of filling it in, they just kind of put the floors over it and went on down the road, and it is still a live well. We have drawn water from it. We
Wow.
have had it analyzed. In
Mhm.
fact, Jimmy Billman was the one that had it analyzed for us. And he said that what he was told was they would boil it first before they used it. But I have a bottle of it at my house, and it looks like it's tap water. It's
Wow.
that clear. It's that clear.
I wonder
And
if
there's
it's got
no,
a mineral content to it because there's so many
no.
mineral wells in Texas. No,
Well,
this one
that's
not?
true. That's true. And I don't think they really said, they said that it's potable, but
Oh,
they would boil it
yeah.
since it is in an open well.
That's really interesting. Yeah, I just thought that was an oddity. It's just to have it,
Mm-hmm.
but it makes sense when you explain it that way. Now, I think you talked a little bit about the TV shows. I wanted to make sure we asked. I also wanted to ask too about the world's largest ghost hunt. I thought that seemed really fun.
Well, that was something that we did that 3 years in a row, actually. And it was fascinating. There were different people involved each year. But
Mm-hmm.
what they were trying to do was join together teams from around the planet all at the same time so that some people were broadcasting at 3 o'clock in the morning and
Yeah.
other people in their location were broadcasting at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, but they were all broadcasting at the same time.
Oh,
And they
okay.
were trying to establish a
Unified.
link.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they did. I think they had some cross haunting. I don't know what you would call it, but
Yeah. Just
people at other locations were picking up on spirits that I recognized as being from Hill House.
oh,
And
really?
we were picking up things that other people said, no, that's usually at our location.
It's
And
like
it
a
was
big,
just it was a very interesting experiment that
yeah,
involved over 150 teams.
that's really neat.
It was, and I don't know if they had it this year or not. I think they didn't because of COVID.
Yeah.
Um, this is year 2018.
Yeah.
The largest ghosthunt.com probably still exists,
Yeah.
and I cannot remember the girl's name that put it together.
Well, I think it's a really just I don't know, just a fun idea.
It is. It is.
Yeah,
And
people
there were questions that they were asking. That's what it was. They had questions to be asked on the top of the hour that
oh,
everybody was
wow.
to ask. And the investigation went on for 2 hours.
Mhm.
Everybody would ask these 3 questions at the top of the hour and write down their responses. And we all had forms to fill out to send in
Oh, how cool.
to the main group that they could analyze what answers they got from different locations and how many of them matched each other.
Yeah.
And, just it was a serious experiment.
That's really neat. I like that. I'm all about taking notes after and during investigations. I think that things that you don't notice at the time when you go back through your notes, you suddenly, oh, hey,
Mm-hmm.
wait, every time Joe is with us, we get more EVPs
Right.
or a place that you go to a lot. You're like, it seems like Fridays are a lot more active than others. In fact, I think you've mentioned that there are certain days of the week that are more active at Hill House.
No, not really.
That wasn't you? Oh, okay. I don't know where I got that
No,
in my head.
no. I have had activity every day of the week over there. I've had activity at noon.
hmm
I've had activity at 3 in the morning. midnight.
Yeah, the whole thing that gets me
Doesn't
too
matter.
is growing up, my paranormal experience is creepy. We're always like on a bright, sunny afternoon, just when I was alone in the house. The freakiest thing would happen.
Right.
And that was my big pet peeve with these shows that you see on TV. They seem to
Always
act
has
like
to
it
be in the dark, and
night vision. It's like, wow, of course anything happens, then it'd be a little spooky. But yeah.
Maria Schmidt, that was right. That's who it was. Maria Schmidt. Thank you.
Oh, okay. All right.
She started the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I don't know if they're doing it this year or not.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's been so crazy since COVID.
Oh, it sure has. Yeah.
Like, we haven't been hosting events. We have a group can come in and investigate together.
But
If they
they're a
feel
little bubble. Yeah, they're all like,
yeah, they're a little bubble. But we haven't put on any events where you would buy a ticket as John Q. Public and come to the house. And we used to do that a few times a year, but we haven't done it since COVID because we don't want to take any chances. So,
oh, I know. Things have changed. Yeah, I haven't given an in-person presentation since January of 2020.
Oh, I know.
It's just so different. Mm-hmm. But, hey, we're all figuring out how to adapt, and I think things are opening up, so that's good. We'll get there eventually. Well, now I realize it's the top of the hour here, so I want to make sure we talk about your books. Because we have Linda is a very prolific author and also an award-winning author. And I just thought, now, of course, you guys, if you have questions for her too, now's the time to be thinking of them. But I want her to have a chance to talk about all the books she writes, because she writes not just one genre too. So take it away, Linda. Go ahead and tell us about your books.
Well, the first one you see there is my latest one, Hill House Manor, 13 Ghost Stories. And that's what it is. They're stories inspired by things that have happened at Hill House Manor. Some of them have been inspired by more specific details than others.
So are they like the names have been changed to protect the innocents, and then you just
absolutely.
Okay, got you.
But the story could have happened. I've had a couple of people that read the book and said that there were a couple of stories that rang true for them from what they have investigated and the things they have gotten in investigations, that they recognize the character and the story. So they think I'm channeling. And I may be at times, because sometimes they come so fast I can't write them. I can't keep up, writing it. It's coming in so fast. And then other times it's my imagination definitely just kind of playing with it. But it's a good collection of short stories. You can even read them at bedtime. They're not scary.
Yeah.
There's one or two of them that might make you cry. They're just fireside stories.
Yeah.
The bookkeeping for authors is available only on Kindle, and that's what it is. What it says is what it is. If you're a new author and you don't know what you need to be keeping track of or how, that's what this book is. It's just a primer for new authors.
That's really important. I know not everyone in the audience cares about that, but we do get our fair share of authors out there. So
yeah,
I'll mention that to my writing group. Actually, it's a good one to bring
up. Finding Up is a kind of a self-help book.
I love the cover on that one.
Thank you.
Nice.
I didn't design it. I paid someone to design that. But I came up with the idea. Anyway, it's about looking at life as a ladder. And where you are on the ladder determines what your next step needs to be to get to your goal. And some people don't know which way is up on the ladder. They actually go backwards thinking they're going forwards. And this defines each step, from just starting to learn a subject all the way to mastery. There are certain steps that you have to go through. And if you can recognize that you're at step 7, then you know that you need to be looking for step 8 and not going down to step 6. And that's as much
Yeah,
sense
that
as I
makes
can
sense.
make of it in a
Well, yeah,
short
because
amount
you
of
had to
time.
write a whole book. Yeah, the whole
Right.
concept of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a book.
Oh, that,
And
I appreciate. Oh, here, someone just pointed out. Mhm.
I've
Looks like
studied the technology for this for over 20 years.
oh wow.
It's based on technology by Alan C. Walter, who was
Hmm.
like a self-help guru.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, the next book you see there is The Spider House, and that's the second book in the Madame Celeste series. And it won an award. It won first place in a Pencraft award.
Yeah,
And
that's so great.
actually Finding Up won second place in a Pencraft
Oh, how
award.
neat.
Now that I
That's
think of it.
wow. See, good job.
uh, Madame Celeste is a psychic who lives in a small town in a house that's very similar to Hill House Manor. She makes a living being a psychic.
Hmm.
And she doesn't drive because she's subject to have something start channeling at any given moment. Thank you for joining us, Duckman.
Yeah, thank you.
And she just has a lot of little quirks, but she gets sucked into mysteries because she sees the dead and talks to the dead. She gets dragged into these mysteries by the spirits. And
Yeah. Some kind of a cozy mystery with some paranormal. Cozy
exactly. It's
paranormal
a
mystery.
paranormal cozy mystery is the
Mhm.
genre. Anyway, it's fun. I enjoy doing them, writing them,
Yeah.
and I'm in
And I
the
know
middle
this
of
isn't
one
even
now.
all of her books, so you guys need to go to
No,
Amazon and just type Linda Anthony Hill, and you'll be able to see more of them.
right,
I do want to
right.
mention, someone mentioned there is going to be a world's largest ghost hunt this year, September 25th.
September
So just putting
25th.
that out
Maybe
there.
I'll,
Maybe we can all participate. Who knows? That would be fun.
yeah, I'll get in touch with Maria and see if we can get involved this year.
Yeah, that seems really cool.
No, that was our idea in the first place, to renovate the whole house and rent it
Hmm.
out as a haunted B&B. But we're really not interested in taking it that deep.
Yeah,
Uh,
that would take a lot of work and a
that
lot of
would take,
commitment. B&B means you have to be there so often, so much. Being
right.
a B&B, that's a tough job.
You have to be there, and I'm not interested
Yeah,
in hosting a B&B. People are happy to come, and the prices would have to be unreasonable,
yeah,
because it would take hundreds of thousands of dollars to get the house into a situation where it could actually be done as a B&B.
yeah. Here, Charisse is in a murder mystery book club. I'm so interested in your books. I can't wait to
Ooh,
read them. You have a new fan. Wow, that's exciting, Charisse.
yay!
You know, I may not have the biggest audience in the world, but my audience are readers. They really are.
That's good. That's
When I have
good.
authors on here, they're always like, people are asking me later, where do I find their books? And so that makes me happy. I have a friendly crowd, and they are readers.
Very good. Well, The
Yeah,
Anchor is the
woohoo!
Key is the first book in the Madame Celeste series, and it won 2 awards.
I can make that our book of the month. I usually have a
There
book
you
of the week. I
go.
didn't even get to that today. Well, all of these can be the book of the week then. All right. Well, does anyone
So
have
are we?
questions? Does anyone have any questions for Linda before I've kept her a little bit over, you guys? I just realized. All right. I had a question for you. Now I'm blanking on it.
Oh,
Oh well, it'll come back. Well, gosh, guys, time flies. So if you have any questions, you gotta let her know. let Linda know now. I know everyone was so excited to have you. Oh, I want to tell people, if you like haunted stuff, by the way, I hope, if you've made it this far, hopefully you've subscribed to my channel, and, you can kick around. I have a haunted Texas history playlist. And of course, you need to go type in Hill House Manor and see, you'll get all sorts of evidence as well. And remember to come back next week. We're going to have Daniel Allen Jones. And just let me...
He's interesting.
He is a lot of fun, and he's so sweet. We'll have fun stuff to talk about. Now, did I miss anybody's questions? Because sometimes I close out too fast because I assume everyone types super fast, and maybe they're formulating their questions. So I end the show and I see like questions coming in. Oh, Debbie says your book sounds interesting, up my alley. Yeah, I thought you would like her, good. Debbie. I thought you would. Debbie's in Canada, so. And this one, can't wait to get back there. Great interview. All right, thanks for the show. People enjoyed it. All right. Now, here's what I wanted to ask. What are you working on next, Linda? And like, what would you like to leave us with as far as anything along those lines?
I have the 4th children's book in we're doing the artwork for it at this point. So it's almost ready to release. And that's a book series about a little boy with a haunted something. And
Brandon's ghost.
Brandon's ghost. Yeah, it's right there on the screen.
Here we go, Brandon's ghost. But everyone will go to Amazon. He does ghost hunts, and his little friends go with him, and they discover all kinds of new things. The kids like it. The kids like the series. So that is wrapping up right now. I am about in the middle of the 3rd book, Madame Celeste. Oh, all right. I know you're probably working on more than one thing.
Yes, I'm juggling a few things.
Yes. Well, I just had to ask. I was like, I want to know what she's up to. All right.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, everybody, all right, get thee to Amazon, do some shopping. Remember, books make great gifts. Don't forget that.
That's true.
And man, I'm excited. Maybe this September, she'll be, who knows, maybe you will be involved in that world's greatest, what is it called?
Biggest ghost hunt. It's on Ghost Hunting Saturday. There's a national or international ghost hunting day. And it falls on a Saturday.
That's right. I think
in September. It's like the last Saturday in September is National Ghost Hunting.
All right. And I think people hit that link. It's actually active in the YouTube chat, but it's not in our StreamYard where we are. So good to know. All right. So we will be seeing everybody there. Okay, everybody. Well, thanks again for everybody dealing with me in my glitch week. Thanks to Linda for being such a good sport about Tui's Major being the glitchy woman, now that we know my new theme song is going to be. And hope enjoy that earworm, everyone. This was a lot of fun, and I hope to see you guys next week. And take care. Thanks for being such a fun audience. You guys always cheer me up. Yay. Thanks, you guys. Thanks, Wayne. Always nice to see you. Thanks, everybody. Lots of people want to come, even though they live other places. All right. Bye, guys. See you again soon.
Bye.